What's up, guys? Working in the garage today. We have more broken down Yamahas. So we got another Yamaha EFI engine. This is Marc's, my buddy Marc's engine. At Twisted Fence, it locked up, so he brought it to me. We're going to tear into it, see what's wrong with it, and then obviously we're going to end up fixing it. But today's video will just be to tear it apart and see what the issue is. Not sure if we're going to have to split the cases. It could be the rod, the crank, or maybe it's in the head. Not too sure how many hours he has on this, because he did buy this quad used when he got it, and then he built it for his race quad. He's pretty much raced it. Oh, I want to say Twisted Fence was round 8. So he raced it for 8 rounds plus a couple practice rides. So he definitely got his money's worth out of it. So we also need to extract this bolt that's stripped out. So we got to do that. But what we'll do is we will disassemble this in time lapse just so it's quick, and then depending on how far we have to go, if it's just the top end and I find the issue, then I'll show you guys. But if it's the bottom end too, then we'll go ahead and disassemble the cases, and then I'll show you what I find. So let's get to work. All right guys, we've got the engine all apart. We'll show you the damage. Unfortunately, the cases are totaled, cylinder totaled, piston totaled, rod and crank totaled. Counterbalancer is bent up really bad. Not sure if you guys can see that. It's kicked up, so you can see it kicked up. It's scored up and really mashed up. You can see all the pieces, part of the cylinder, all the needle bearings. Engine case damage, you can see right there, there's a chunk missing there. This is cracked in there. The rest of that looks good, but the worst part is right here. All this is gone. A chunk right in here. It's a big crack right there. I think that's about it. I will say that I cannot get the other part of the oil pump. I cannot get that little piece out, the impeller. It's like seized in there. I got it to spin a little bit, but I had to hammer it. Sorry about the camera. I had to hammer it. It's not moving, so not sure of the cause of this, guys. Maybe that seized up when it grenaded. Maybe somehow it lost oil pressure. I don't really know. Or maybe just the rod blew. So I'll show you the oil screen, and that's all that was on it right there. So that is probably from this incident. So I want to say, I mean, the oil pump, at least on this section right here, I mean, this spins freely. All the gears were intact, at least on the outside of the clutch cover. All these were fine, no broken teeth or anything like that. Transmission looks good. I will just double check that, but I do not see anything. I mean, I see a couple little nicks on that. But I will go through that and look at it. So I guess we're just gonna call this a rod failure. I mean, I've had this happen to me long time ago. I had an engine where I ended up changing the cases because right in here, this section broke. It's kind of a common thing. When you tweak the frames, that piece cracks. So the engine as a whole is still fine. It doesn't leak oil, but looking at it, it kind of bothered me. So I was like, I got some cases, scored some cheap years ago when this happened, and you know, bought all new bearings, all that stuff, and it was a perfectly fine running engine. I ended up reusing the crank. Literally, guys, it lasted about an hour and a half. I was riding locally, and the whole engine grenaded. Same thing happened. But I think mine, I don't know if I have any pictures or video of it, but I think mine might have, I don't know if it failed in the same spot. I don't think this broke. I think it broke up here. Anyway, needless to say, it took out the cases, it took out the cylinder, it damaged the head, it bent a couple valves. It was a very expensive mistake. So I learned the hard way on that one. So I will never reuse a crank, even if it's running or not. I'll never do it. I'll just buy one. And then obviously I never reuse bearings. I always replace the bearings. So if the cases are good, let's say the cases were good, I usually would just change the main bearings. Those, if you're replacing the crank, you got to replace the main bearings. I've never had an issue where I've reused the transmission bearings, stuff like that. But obviously you guys know when I do it, I just replace everything just for peace of mind. So this doesn't happen. So definitely this is a bummer for Mark. I got to break the news to him. So he figured it was a crank rod, one or the other. So he kind of knew, you know, what was going on. I tried to turn the thing over by hand, and that thing would not budge. So he's going to have to find some cases, and obviously we're going to need a cylinder, piston, crank, bearings, all that good stuff. Everything else looks like it's in fine shape. The head looks fine. I didn't see any damage, but for peace of mind, I will recommend him sending that head to B&R because it could have a bent valve. So I'm not going to be able to tell unless I rip it all apart, which I'm not going to do that. I'd rather let B&R service the head, clean it up, and then he can go through it to make sure that thing's good to go. But Everything else looked fine. The clutch looks fine. Obviously, whatever he decides to do, he can keep all this stuff as spare parts or rebuild the engine. Everything will get a once over, cleaned, looked over, and obviously anything that needs to be replaced will be replaced. So pretty much looking at a 100% engine rebuild right here. So I'll keep you guys posted. If he is going to rebuild it, we will make a video. We still have Trevor's engine all in these bags. That's his head. We will have his cases back from the Soda Blaster people, Hannah Hunter at Hurricane Blasting. She did awesome work. She sent me some pictures. Cases look brand new. We should have those soon, and then we're going to start ordering some parts. Probably just do a bottom end for now, because Trevor's kind of on a budget, so we'll do it little by little, but it'll probably be a good winter project. Probably do like the bottom end in one video and the top end in another, but this might be another potential. We'll see. I'll keep you guys posted, like I said. But that's a wrap for this one, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Make sure you give me a thumbs up. That helps a ton. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think about this grenaded engine. And if you're not yet, please subscribe. And we'll see you on the next one. All right? Peace.